Besides knowing the eligibility requirements to run as a local government representative, prospective candidates need to know what rules need to be followed to be nominated for office. So, what are some of these nomination rules? Hi, my name is Gloria Mertens, and this is That's My Take, an interpretation and education about village council proceedings. Prospective candidates should read the Local Government Elections and Other Voting Procedures Bylaw 816-2018, found on the village's website, to find out the rules governing local elections in our community. According to this bylaw, prospective candidates for local government office must be nominated by at least 10 eligible nominators. Nomination packages can be obtained from a local government's local chief election officer. The completed documents must be submitted back to the local chief election officer by the end of the nomination period. The nomination period opens at 9 a.m. on August 30th, 2022 and closes at 4 p.m. on September 9th, 2022. Ashcroft's election bylaw does not require a deposit unless the current council changes the bylaw before the nomination period commences. But if amended, this amount must not be greater than $100. Section 58 of the Local Government Act states that for the purposes of conducting an election, the local government must appoint a chief election officer and a deputy chief election officer. Council voted to appoint the Chief Administrative Officer, Daniela Dick, as the Chief Election Officer, the CEO, and the Executive Assistant, Christine Hardy, as the Deputy Chief Election Officer, the DCEO. The appointment of the election officials will dedicate staff time to the election process, ensuring all election tasks are completed as required. To guide the CEO and the DCEO through the election process, an election manual has been ordered and will be received by the office once the manual updates for 2022 are completed. At least 6 days, but not more than 30 days before the nomination period begins, the Chief Election Officer must issue a notice of nomination published in the local paper, which includes the offices for which the candidates are to be elected, the dates, times, and places at which nominations will be received, how interested persons can obtain information on the requirements and procedures for making a nomination, the expense limits, and third-party advertising limits. All candidates must complete a statement of financial disclosure in accordance with the Financial Disclosure Act at the time the nomination documents are filed with the local government. A prospective candidate officially becomes a candidate when they have submitted all the required information in the nomination package and have been declared a candidate by the local chief election officer. The completed nomination package must also include solemn declarations from the prospective candidate, including that the candidate fully intends to accept office if elected and is aware of and understands and intends to comply with all the requirements and restrictions under the Local Elections Campaigns Financing Act. A prospective candidate may make the required solemn declarations in advance with a commissioner for taking affidavits for BC, such as a lawyer or a notary public, or make a declaration before the local chief election officer when submitting their nomination documents to the local chief election officer. Public access to nomination documents are provided electronically on the Village of Ashcroft's website from the time of delivery until 30 days after the declaration of the election results under Section 146 of the Act. An eligible elector, another nominee for office, or the local chief election officer can challenge a prospective candidate's nomination if they believe the nomination documents are incorrect or the person is otherwise not eligible to be nominated for office. Any updates made to the nomination documents after the general local election results have been declared must be sent directly to Elections BC. If elected, local officials, that is, mayor and councillors, must also file annual financial disclosure statements between January 1st and 15th each year, as well as when they leave their elected office. These statements differ from campaign financing disclosure statements, which candidates are required to file with Elections BC following a general local election or any by-elections. General voting day for the general local elections will be Saturday, October 15th, 2022. It's a good time to start thinking about running for office now and preparing for an election campaign. Having a competition of candidates rather than acclamations is always better to reinforce our institution of democracy. At least, that's my take.